Hey, my Liptons. So I wanted to come in here and do a completion, I guess, discussing, reviewing the final three episodes of Blood of Zeus. I did the first episode from episode 1 and episode 4. Those reviews are up on my channel where I discuss the episodes. So if y'all want to, this is my channel, by the way. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Okay, we are 3 subscribers away from 900 subscribers. Okay, we are almost there. Make sure y'all subscribe. The goal is to get up to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. So let's make it happen. But let's go to my playlist. So I do have the Blood of Zeus reviews on my playlist. Okay, so we have episode 1 and 2 review, episode 2 and 3, sorry, I said the first 1 to 4, but 1 to 5. So I have episode 4 and 5 up. So these are the reviews. If y'all are interested, make sure y'all also check out the older episodes that I did reviews of. So it's been a minute, but I did watch episodes 6, 7, and 8. So I actually watched it the day, like around the same time, like 3 months ago actually, but I just never did the final 3 reviews of the season, maybe because I was just preoccupied with everything. But I finally got to it because I have time today. I got time because okay, so I got to it today and I rewatched it again, and I'm gonna get to my thoughts about where do we go from here when it comes to Blood of Zeus, and my criticisms of Netflix and so forth. So we're gonna get to that towards the end of the video, but this is definitely gonna be a long video because I definitely took some notes for all 3 episodes of episode 6, 7, and 8. So hopefully it doesn't reach over 40 minutes, but I'm gonna try to keep it under. But let's get into it because this I am a fan of Blood of Zeus, but I have my criticisms about how Netflix has handled everything that has gone on. So I'm going to discuss that obviously towards the end of the video. Yes, so let's get into episode 6 because that's where I left off on. So let's discuss. So episode 6 starts off with Heron, Alexia, Kofi. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, and I'm gonna also discuss it throughout the first season, episode 6 and episode 7. Like, this was really like Heron and friends. Okay, Alexia and Kofi were doing the damn thing. They were doing their big ones. So it starts off with them. They get to, I believe they get to the village that was it the village that Heron grew up in? Well, apparently there is some demon or something is feasting on the people in the village. And Heron was just basically telling Alexia, listen, like, these villagers are the same ones that try to rape my mother. They mistreated me, they dehumanized me and my mom. So Alexia was just like, listen, like, you have to save them. At the end of the day, you have to be the bigger person. So he goes forward with it. He ends up saving them. I will say this though, the part where Heron was him and Alexia and Kofi were fighting against those feasting demons that were feasting on the villagers. When Heron got into his like Avatar state, Super Saiyan Dragon Ball Z lightning era, and he was like, get down, and he just started roasting those demons. I was getting my life, okay? I was here for it. So he did that. He saves the villagers who mistreated him and his mother. So yes, this is him talking to them, and he was just telling the villagers, listen, like, I didn't do this out of the kindness of my heart. I really don't like y'all like that, but make sure that going forward y'all don't mistreat anybody else. It is what it is. So there, he left it at that. Next, Demeter, okay, who is the mother of Persephone, she got the tea on Hades. She got the tea on Hades. She was like, girl, you're out here trying to act all innocent, trying to act all neutral when you're really not that, okay? I don't like you. Okay, I don't like you for stealing my daughter. I don't like you for impregnating her. I don't like you for marrying her, whatever. But I am going to scheme with you. Okay, so listen, y'all already know Demeter and Hades do not like each other. They both hate each other's guts. Demeter's like, listen, let's come up with a plan. Okay, I'm gonna scheme with you. Let's come up with a plan to take the how you say, the Lusitanian stone. I think that's what it's called. But I'm gonna keep calling it the stone throughout this video because to say Lusitanian stone is crazy. So they're like, okay, I'm gonna conspire against you to get this stone, and I'm willing to compromise with you when it comes to my daughter, and be one big happy family. And when she said that, I was just like, yeah, right. You already know Demeter hates Hades. She feels like Hades ripped her daughter away from her, and now she's just using this as a moment to take the stone and rule over Olympus, and so forth. But at the same time, I also think that she's trying to get rid of Hades too, because she feels like Hades is just a piece of shit. So there is that. What is the next thing? Oh, okay. So yeah, let's move on from that. So the episode continues on, and it says here that Heron and Alexia end up finding Seraphim. So in this episode, Seraphim, you know, obviously, if you guys can go back to my episode 5 review where I discussed how Seraphim got injured and so forth. So Seraphim ends up going back into his human form while he's injured, and he actually crashes into the cemetery, or the grave site, where his mother and also his lover, the priestess, I think her name is is it Gorgo, whatever, the priestess, his former lover, his deceased lover, is buried at. So Seraphim is just knocked out. He's injured. He's messed up. Heron and the Heron and friends find him, and but he's in human form. They don't know that it's Seraphim. So Heron actually ends up healing him with his powers, and heals his wounds. It says here, Seraphim. Oh, I wrote here. Side note: Seraphim in human form. I think I said this in a previous review. Seraphim in human form is fine as hell. Okay, he just needs that eye back. Okay, that long. He is so fine. This honestly, all the characters in this show is fine, honey. But no, he needs his eye back though. They need to I don't know, implant that eye back in, and but yes. So let me see. Oh no. So it says here that Heron ends up going to his mother's grave, and Seraphim actually wakes up from when after Heron heals him, and he wakes up and he tries to kill Heron. While Heron was, talking to his mom's grave and so forth, but then he realizes that it is Heron, so he, puts the knife or puts the sword back down, and Seraphim does not tell Heron that he's, who he actually is. So then Heron, obviously not knowing that that is Seraphim, Heron tells, you know, is talking to Seraphim, like, what is your name? And like, how did you get here? How did you get injured? And, I think Seraphim tells him like, oh, my name is Icarus or Iris or whatever the hell. And he's like, oh, I just came to see someone that was dear to me. I came to see her gravesite. And, and blah, blah, blah. And then, Heron asks him, he was like, how did you get here? How did you, how were you able to even get here? How did you get injured? And then Seraphim was like, oh, I confronted the tree bender. Remember that troll from the previous episode? And, his faith was worse than mine, I guess. So that was that. And then Seraphim low-key slips up and almost reveals himself to Heron. He tells Heron, oh, don't feel sad about your mom and blah, blah, blah. And then Heron was like, wait a minute, how did you know that I was out here, talking to my mom's gravesite? And he was like, oh, just, instincts or whatever. Or whatever. So, Heron didn't ask no questions. So, and also during this time, Hades sends an owl to spy on Seraphim. So, and Hades basically says, like, listen, like, you gotta get to the stone. Like, go get to the stone. Get to the stone. And Ares, is it Ares? The messenger arrives and gives Heron a message about the hidden realm. I think that's what it's called, the hidden realm. I think I really don't know about it. I'm gonna get to it, but that's where the stone is located. So they send a message to Heron, and Heron is gonna head over there and go get that. Demeter, and actually towards the end of this episode, actually gives Hades some tough love, even though she has no love for him at all. But I'm just saying. But Demeter's like, oh, the other quote unquote gods of Olympus, of Olympus, they don't care about, as far as like being good or being neutral. Like, you need to stop with that BS. They only see things as it is, and everybody goes by their own whims. So it's like, you need to get with the program. We've both been hurt. We've both been in pain. So let's use that to our advantage by, just doing bullshit. So that was really what episode 6 was about, if I'm going to be honest. So let's just move on to episode 7. Okay, and episode 7 was the hidden realm. Okay, yes, so I actually got that right. The hidden realm. And that's where the Lucinian stone is actually protected in the hidden realm. So the episode starts with Demeter telling Hades that if you want justice, you need power. And Demeter releases parasites onto the human beings, onto the people within Olympus and the other gods in Olympus. So, and mind you, Hades was like low key conflicted about, and I'm gonna get to like how like Persephone and Hades is like, y'all mean to tell me y'all don't know what this consists of, like what it means to be doing these things behind people's backs and so forth. Like, y'all don't think that this is gonna cause bloodshed and death and disease and so forth. Like, they were getting me, especially Persephone, like throughout episode 7, episode 8, like she was getting on my nerves with her facial expressions. I was like, girl, stop playing with me. But yeah. So yeah, but no, like Hades was like conflicted. He was like, oh, what are you doing, Demeter? Why are you releasing poison onto the people? And I'm like, girl, you knew what it was. You knew what it was when you were out here scheming with Demeter. You knew that it was gonna take bloodshed. So Hades, save me with your BS. Save me with your, morality or whatever, your values, your morals. So I was just like, girl, bye. We then move on. Yeah, actually. So we then move on to Heron and his friends being confronted by Talos. So they're trying to go to the hidden realm, and they get confronted by Talos the giant. And I said here, for this whole sequence, this whole scene, I said here that Alexia and Kofi did their big ones fighting Talos. Okay, they were out here fighting the three-headed monster. They were out here fighting Talos. Legit, Heron was out here getting squeezed out. You would have thought that Talos was out here about to squeeze the blood and guts out of Heron throughout the scene. Okay, Heron got his ass whipped. Alexia and Kofi saved his ass, and honestly, like like I said before, this needs to be called Heron and Friends, because Alexia and Kofi, they're super loyal. They ate, and honestly, Heron is very lucky that he has those two as his friends. Okay, and by the way, because Alexia also met her aunt while they were out here fighting Talus in the sea. Alexia's aunt threw shade at Heron. She was like, "Wait a minute, how did you save the gods, but you almost lost your damn life fighting Talus?" Okay. And I was like, that is true, Auntie. That is true. I don't. Heron, he has his great moments, and then he has his moments where it's like, whoo, you need a break. You need some water. Okay, so, but that was that. Um, so then, oh, Alexia's aunt actually, once she, threw that shade, threw that whole tree at Heron, she was like, oh, I sure never said that because, the way things are going now, it's been crazy. Even the tree bender was killed. So then, that's when Heron was like, wait a minute, killed by who? So then, they started connecting the dots that it was actually Seraphim who was the one that killed the tree bender. And it was actually Seraphim that he healed at the graveyard, and was talking to him, and that he was in human form and they didn't even know. So they were like, whoa, like, how did this even happen? So they start connecting the dots. And then I think they also obviously connect the dots that it was actually Hades was the one that is, instructing Seraphim to go after to be doing all this to go after the stone. And then Kofi says, if Hades is using Seraphim, then what does Hades want? And that's when Heron says that, what they all want power. And it all goes back to the stone. Okay. So that's what happens. And obviously, within the hidden realm where the stone is being protected, you have to go through Gaia's trials. The 3 trials that we will definitely get to towards the end of this video. So they have to go through these 3 trials in order to get to the stone. But yeah, so that was, they finally, used their brains to connect those dots when it comes to Seraphim and the goal of Hades. What else? Let me see here. Oh, I also wrote here that in this episode they were also dropping some seeds that Heron and Alexia, I think they might end up having a thing just because, like, Heron was speaking to Alexia. Alexia was, sitting on Heron's horse or flying horse, whatever you want to call it. And, just talking to her like, oh, how do you know that lady? And, saying that, oh, that's my aunt. And, and Heron basically telling her, advising her not to really be too angry about, her dad abandoning her, being angry at her. Because, I done the same. And look where that has led me. So, yeah, they're definitely dropping seeds that Heron and Alexia are gonna have a little something, something, maybe, in the future. So we'll see about that. It says here, Athena. I wish I had her picture. Athena ends up confronting Seraphim on Hades. After the whole poison thing, when Demeter released the poison onto the mortals, Athena confronts Persephone and was like, what is Hades up to? Like, what's going on? And then, Athena was like, listen, like, you better tell me or else. So then Persephone was just like, do what you think you must, but just know that we will do the same. So, that's the thing about Persephone. I don't know. Persephone is like, she talks big. She talks big, but when the shit hits the fan, all of a sudden she's like a deer in headlights. That's the thing I don't like. It's like, girl, you knew you were with the shits, and now all of a sudden, when the shit hits the fan, when there's actually bloodshed or people are dying or something happens, you're like, ooh, 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 like goofy as hell. Like Persephone gets on my nerves. I can't stand her. Also, next scene, and I actually wrote a note here that I actually love this scene. Okay, it's a very short scene, a very summarized scene. So Seraphim reaches the cave where the hidden realm is at, and with the help of Hades, he ends up drugging the guards that are guarding the cave, and he ends up drugging them, and the liquid actually that the guards take, it erases their memory. So when Seraphim confronts the guards, and the guards are already drugged out, they lost their memory, they're like, who are you, blah 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 blah. So Seraphim is like, oh, you don't know who I am? You don't know who I am? He was just like, listen, I am, you guys, y'all are here. Let me tell you, forget about me. Y'all are here to protect the stone y'all here to protect the hidden realm. And then it goes into the story about how Gaia how Gaia created the hidden realm, to going back to the story of the newborn Zeus, and how Gaia was protecting Zeus when he was an infant from his father, Titan King Kronos. And it this sequence, and this is obviously the Kronos scene where Kronos was, he I think he had a prophecy or something that his children will usurp him. So he ended up one of his children will end up usurping his throne. So that's when he starts any child that his wife bears, he ends up eating up that child. Basically, he ends up swallowing his children. So this is the scene where that's where like my memory back in middle school, when I used to be really really into Greek mythology, where I actually remembered like, oh my god, like that's what I read about that one mythical king who ate up his children because he thought that his children were going to usurp him. So literally any child that his wife bared, he ate them up. Like girl, boy, it doesn't matter. He ate them. He swallowed them. He also banished the children of Gaia into the underworld. And I wrote here Kronos was paranoid. You know what I don't understand? This situation also goes to like, because I also think it's a metaphor for real life. And in a way too, this whole Kronos thing, this is where I feel like this particular part of Greek mythology, I feel like there's some, I could be reaching, but there's some parts where I feel like it takes some of the story, or, it makes a metaphor for the story of Moses and the whole situation that happened with Pharaoh, and how, he also got a prophecy that some boy was going to usurp him and, take over the throne or take over Egypt and so forth. So that's when he started killing all those little baby boys within Egypt. So I don't know. I think this particular story of Kronos takes some elements from the story of the prophet Moses. So may peace be upon him. So yes. So yeah. So then, like I said, the same thing with Kronos. And here's also another thing too, what I don't understand about these type of kings like Kronos and stuff. Oh my God, my child is gonna usurp my throne, bitch. That's the reason why you have children. Like when you die, your child is gonna become king or queen. Like duh. Then why? And it's also another thing too of like, someone said this in the comment section. They were like, okay, if you did not want your child, boy or girl alike, to usurp your throne, then don't have children. Like common sense ain't so common, I guess. But whatever. It says here, Gaia and Rhea, who is Kronos' wife, conspired to save Zeus. So at this time, Kronos ended up swallowing, Poseidon, Hera, Hades, like so many other of his siblings. And then Gaia secretly raised Zeus in the hidden realm. So during this time, basically, when Gaia and Rhea conspired to save Zeus from Kronos, Gaia ends up, disappearing with Zeus, and then they end up using their powers, using magic to make rocks into like a fake baby and covering it. So then that's when Kronos came in running in, taking the freaking blanket of rocks, which he thought was actually his baby. He ends up swallowing it. So he ends up swallowing rocks, basically. So so then Gaia ends up raising Zeus in the hidden realm. They raise him up to the point where he becomes a man, and then that's when, they basically encourage, or they motivate Zeus to go against his father, to fight him, and to, and he won. He ends up killing his dad. So that was basically episode 7. And like I said before, I really really love this scene when they briefly discuss Kronos. I think that gives a little bit of backstory to life before this whole Zeus thing. And honestly, you can also see why all these Olympians are all messed up. All of them, like Zeus, Hera, Poseidon, Hades, all of them are messed up in the head. Like Demeter, all like look who their father was. This Look who their examples were. So yeah, it's that was something that, is one of my favorite parts of the Greek mythology story. So let's head on to the next episode. So this is the next, and this is also the last episode of season 2. So episode 8 is the last season. By the way, y'all, all these episodes are like 25 minutes or something like that, like 25, 30 minutes, like very short episodes. So it's very easy to get through if y'all want to get into it. It says here, so the episode, okay, so I'm going to get back to this picture in a second. So let's just get to, okay. So in the beginning of episode 8, it begins with Apollo, I guess coming to get Hermes, because Hermes is, he's been poisoned by the green mist that Demeter put out there within Olympus, within Mount Olympus. And Apollo, immediately he thinks that it's actually Hera that's behind, as far as like putting that poison within the air. So they think that it's Hera that infected them with the poison, because Hera's jealousy and whatever. Then you have Persephone, who then comes to her mother, and she was like, "Mother, what did you do? What did you do? What is this? What is this green mist that's out here in the air?" And then Demeter puts full blame on Hades, said that it's Hades' fault. Hades is the one that put this green mist out there. She's the one that's poisoning the mortals and poisoning, your siblings and blah 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 blah. And Persephone's like heartbroken that it was Hades that did this. And I'm like, even though, obviously Hades knew about it and, he didn't do anything to stop it. So, of course, he's also complicit in what has happened. But at the same time, it's like, girl, why are you so shook? You were okay with Hades, using Seraphim to go through do anything by any means necessary to break the rule that was put in place by you leaving the underworld between autumn and winter, and going to Mount Olympus, and then when that's done, spring and summer, you come back to freaking to the underworld. You're okay with them, with him using Seraphim, with him, doing anything by any means necessary. You're okay with that, but you draw the line at, them putting poison mist within the freaking within Olympus and so forth. It's like, this is what I mean by Persephone. Persephone, I'm not feeling her. I'm not feeling her. So it's just like, and on top of that, you believe your mother over hate. Like, you didn't even get the full information. Like, you immediately believe your mother over Hades. It's like, okay, girl. Anyway, I also wrote here that Athena is not playing around. Okay, that's the thing about Athena. I like her. She connects the dots real quick. She's not the one of those that takes, 1-2 episodes to figure things out. She knows it immediately that something ain't right. So she tells her siblings, especially the bastard ones, that, because, like I said in the beginning, Apollo thinks that it's Hera that's behind this thing, but Athena caught wind that it's actually Demeter that put this poison mist within Olympus. So she's trying to come up with a plan with her siblings to take down Demeter and Hades. So and that's going to get very interesting towards the end of this episode. Yes, so this is the part here where Athena is telling her siblings, like, listen, Demeter's the one that's behind this. Hades the one that's behind this. Like, they're trying to distract us. They're trying to, they have their hands in the cookie jar, and we need to chop that hand off expeditiously. Okay, so there is that. Seraphim enters the hidden realm. Okay, so this is the hidden realm. So Seraphim is going. He's walking. He sees Goro, the priestess that he was in love with. and it actually turns out to be Gaia. Gaia comes to struck a deal with Seraphim, and she was like, listen, like, you're not supposed to be here. Like, let me strike a deal with you. I can bring a Goro. I can bring the priestess back. I can, you can build a life with her. Or if you want, you can go back in time to, strike your uncle for trying to kill you, for usurping your throne. You can be king again. And basically Seraphim was like, listen, lady, like, I don't give a fuck about that no more. The past is in the past. At the end of the day, it is what it is. And he was like, a true king leaves the past behind, and that is why I would never be a good king. So that's when the trial begins. Gaia sends the dragon, tries to Dracarys Seraphim. Seraphim kills that dragon. And then Seraphim continues on to the next challenge, which is to face your fear by the phoenix. I think that's the sphinx or whatever, one of those two. And I guess the question is like, what is your fear or something? Yeah. And then Seraphim is like, oh, I have no fear. That the fates stripped him of everything that he loves. So when you get stripped of everything that you love, you have no fear of anything. So, the the Sphinx, whatever the Sphinx or Sphinx, says that he's a liar, that he actually fears failing those that he loves. So he's going through that situation. That's when Heron and his friends reach the cave of the hidden realm. He figures out that Seraphim actually got access to the hidden realm, so he also convinces the guards that that he is the chosen one and so forth. Sorry, y'all. That he is the chosen one. And then, yeah, Heron gets access to the hidden realm as well by using Zeus's ring, the Mount Olympus ring. So Heron comes in. He's walking. He sees the dead dragon that Seraphim, slayed, and then that's where he sees Gaia. This is Gaia, by the way, y'all. So then Gaia tells Heron, you didn't fail because you couldn't forgive yourself. And Gaia's telling Heron like the only way to end all of this, the only way to move on is forgiveness, and how all these gods, all these mortals, one of the reasons why they're not able to really live full, complete lives is because they lack empathy and they lack forgiveness. And if you don't have that, it's going to be a very difficult thing. So she was just basically telling Heron like, listen, like, this is what this consists of, and if you're strong enough to do it, if you're strong enough to not only forgive others but to forgive yourself, there's nothing that can stop you from doing anything. So I thought that was really great advice and really great just aspirational talk. And that is when Seraphim right here confronts Heron, and they have a face to face, and basically Seraphim is like, no matter what we do, our paths always cross. We always cross each other. Seraphim tries to convince Heron to join him, blah blah blah. That doesn't happen. A fight ensues for the stone, and mind you, the stone is on a freaking eagle, on an eagle's back, and I'm like, girl, like, it's so stupid. I'm like, that is so stupid. But anyway, but then Hades and Demeter arrives with their army to around the cave, and also Ares comes with his army, and then Athena and her bastard half siblings arrive with Persephone tied up. And then by the next, and then oh my goodness, you see Hades and Demeter are mortified, honey. They are mortified. They don't know what to do. They were like, wait a minute, you let go of our daughter niece wife. You let go of our daughter niece wife, okay? You let her go. And then Athena was like, no, bitch, you need to stand back. Tell your armies to go back to where the fuck they came from the underworld. This is ending now. We'll let her go if everybody is just disarming themselves. And then Hades was like, no, I want Persephone let go right now. You better untie her. And then by the next thing you know, here comes Hera's Captain Save a Ho, chopped up arm. Here she comes, I guess trying to be a good person, trying to be on her repentance thing. She's trying to prevent the war from ensuing. And Hades was just basically like, girl, shut the fuck up. Like, you're the last person to be out here talking about, no war, no war, let's all be kumbaya, my lord. So it's just like Hades was like, no. So then that's when Hera was like, okay, is that how y'all feel? If that's just how you feel, I'll be on my way. So then I wrote here, that is when the battle of the bastards versus the battle of the legitimate children of Zeus premise, along with Uncle Hades and his niece wife make out while the war starts. Okay, so mind you, while everybody's fighting, Hades gets Persephone loose from her getting tied up. They end up making out while the war is happening, and I'm like, yeah, kiss your niece wife in the mouth. Yeah, yeah, you do that. It says here that Hermes. Oh, that was one of my favorite scenes. Like, there's a scene in this battle scene where Hermes ends up grabbing the stone, and his power is just like, ooh. I really, really love Hermes' powers. Like, he was just like running through with that. I love the visualization. Like, they really, really ate with the animation in this show. Like, beautiful powers are amazing. Like, just wonderful animation work. Wonderful. I gotta give credit where credit is due. Heron then ends up saving Seraphim from Ares, because Ares tries to whack Seraphim with his goddamn hammer. So he ends up he ends up saving Seraphim, and then in return, Seraphim also saves Heron from Hades' demons. So yeah, so they end up saving each other, and then by next thing you know, here comes Poseidon surfing his way up to battle, washing away washing away the Lucinian stone. So then the stone ends up getting washed away along with Heron, and then the stone ends up coming near Heron. Heron grabs the stone, and then he just ends up going Avatar state on us. Okay, he ends up like just finish them on Hades' army. That whole sequence was just beautiful visually, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Have to give it his tens. And I wrote here, Heron Loki gave Avatar state. And once Heron is in his Avatar state, Seraphim then encourages Heron to kill Hera, because, during this moment when, he's all powered up, Heron is powered up, so, he starts remembering everything that has happened, the death of his mother, how Hera conspired to get his mother killed and get him killed, and everything that has happened. And, on top of that, you have Seraphim just encouraging Heron to kill Hera. So then Heron was just like, you know what? Hera, I forgive you. I'm gonna forego forego revenge. He says here that, Hera, I forgive you and all that the fates have done to me. And then I wrote here too, Gaia then looks on Gaia looks on like a proud mother, while Heron is just like, on his saying that he forgives everybody, and then how we all need to, move on from this, and we need to stop the backbiting, the backstabbing, the conspiring against each other, that we need to bring order into this world. And then, then here comes Ares. Ares is so annoying. I can't stand him. Ares tries to frat boy his way in bullying Heron, and then that's when Poseidon was like, bitch, that's when Poseidon was like, Ares, if you don't shut the fuck up before I beat your ass. Oh my god, Ares gets on my nerves, y'all. I can't stand Ares. And then Heron tells everyone to go back to their duties, and he basically, and with a heavy heart at that, with a heavy, heavy heart, he tells Hades, like, listen, like, at the end of the day, you have been appointed to be the god of the underworld, so you need to go back to your post. You need to go back. It's like, as much as you don't like it, but it's just what the fates wanted, and you have to commit to that. And you can tell that Hades feels distraught by that. And I actually really think, I actually do think that he loves Heron, and he loves the fact that Heron is forgiving and forgiving everybody for everything that has happened to him and his brother. But Hades also is looking at Persephone, and he's like, his life has been ripped away when it comes to him being with Persephone. So he's just he basically is tearing up, and he tells, you know, Heron, like, I'm sorry, but this is what I gotta do. He ends up stabbing Heron in the chest with a sword. Heron, I guess he dies. I guess, I don't know. He ends up dying. Hades has the stone. Persephone, and I wrote here again, Persephone looks shook that Hades did that. And I'm like, girl, why are you looking shook? You wanted the stone, right? By any means necessary. Stop looking like a deer in headlights. Persephone, I can't. I can't. I can't with her. So, as I said, she still looks shook. Everybody is like in shock that Hades did that. And even me, I was shocked the first time when I watched it. I was like, oh my God, Hades, like, what did you just do? But, gosh, it's crazy. Gaia. So this is where we have this scene. So then Gaia then comes in, is like, enough. None of y'all deserve this stone. All of y'all are crazy. All of y'all deserve prison time. And then Gaia was just like, Heron really became the person that was meant to lead. And what did y'all do? Y'all end up, backstabbing him, and she also goes down the list of all of these people's wrongs, like Zeus, Hera, Hades, like all of them. Like, she was just like, all of y'all have done disgusting things in order to gain power, in order to stay in power. None of y'all deserve this stone, and now y'all deserve punishment. Y'all deserve to be dragged. So Gaia ends up saying, I speak the name that no one else speaks. Typhon. And child, when she says the name Typhon, when I tell you, the people of the gods of Olympus ended up scrambling like cockroaches. They ended up running. Okay, Typhon is coming for that ass. He's coming for those heads. He's coming for that body. Okay, he's coming there to stomp a mud hole in the Olympic gods' asses and walk it dry. No Stone Cold Steve Austin. Okay, the Typhon is coming. So, child, they ended it like that. Great ending. Great ending. And this is what I'm talking about. And this is where the episode ends. I would be happier right now, because to say Blood of Zeus is probably one of the greatest. Is it an anime or animation? I guess let me just say it's an animation. Probably one of the greatest animations that we have out right now. And unfortunately, it's not getting the praise that it deserves because of the poor marketing, the poor promotion, the poor just like hype that is not getting. And I actually do blame Netflix for this. I think that Blood of Zeus needs to be, and I said this in multiple videos. I said this on my channel. I said it in my previous Blood of Zeus reviews. I said Blood of Zeus needs to be talked about the way that X-Men 97 was talked about. Blood of Zeus needs to be talked about like how House of the Dragon is talked about, or how what are the shows, Succession, whatever. To me, I feel like this is one of the best animations that is out right now, and unfortunately, it's not getting the hype that it deserves. I was worried. And I discussed this. I discussed this in previous reviews. I said, due to this getting poor promotion, due to season 2 not getting the promotion that it deserves, will this get a 3rd season, a 4th season, a 5th season? Well, now we got some news. It says here that Blood of Zeus is renewed for a 3rd and final season at Netflix. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm happy that it's getting a 3rd season. I will be watching it. I also think that it is best that they ended at 3 seasons, because if Netflix is just not going to give this show the promotion that it deserves, then there's just no point of it be, y'all wasting a bunch of money just producing this. And then on top of that, y'all taking the amount of years. You know how long it took for season 2 to come out? Like when I think season 1 came out like what, 2019, 2020, and it took what, 4 years? Like, it does not take that long for a freaking anime. Like, stop playing with me. So let's read this article from Deadline. It says here, Blood of Zeus renewed for third and final season at Netflix. So it says here, the creators, shout out to the creators, okay? Y'all did great writing, great animation, great everything. Amazing writing. That it will, you see when it's the final season, okay, they're going to debut it in 2025, but season 2 is going to came out 4 years later. Come on, y'all. So it says here, is expected to debut in 2025 during the show's panel Comic-Con Saturday. The rest of the details are being kept under wraps. In season 3, we're so excited to continue the story of Heron, Seraphim, and the gods as they face their most dangerous adversaries yet, Typhon, Kronos, and the Titans, okay? I cannot wait to see Kronos. It's going to be so crazy. Blood is an epic war between the gods, mortals, and demons, blah, blah, blah. Okay? The show hails powerhouse animation. Okay. So, yes, that's basically the most out of that. I'm happy. I'm so happy that we're getting another season. But I also think that it is best that they ended at season 3. If I really enjoy a show, and if I really think a show is great, I want everybody to be talking about it. I want everybody to be invested, and I want it to be like a cultural moment. I want there to be a sense of urgency, and I feel like, in a lot of ways, like, I don't know, maybe it's like the streaming thing that kind of like deaded the whole sense of urgency thing when it comes to that, or like the death of TV. But the fact that Blood of Zeus is a really, really great show. Like, it's a really, really great show, and I wish that it got the hype that it deserves. If anything, this show really deserved like a good 5 seasons. But, at the end of the day, if they're not going to put their effort into it, they are putting their effort when it comes to animation and writing. Storyline is amazing, on pace, but everything. But if they're not going to put promotion into it, then I say, let's dead it by season 3 comes, and let's move on, So, but other than that, let me just say this. Like I said, I was a Greek mythology head when I was in middle school. I loved Greek mythology. There's so many great stories to tell. There's so much to tell within the Greek mythology world. And I think that, Blood of Zeus was one of those things that I felt like introduced that, which is another reason why I wished that it got more promotion, because I think that would open doors for other spin-offs to occur. And maybe there will be other spin-offs or prequels or something. Well, we need a Kronos prequel. We need something on Kronos. But but no, like, I wish there could have been so many other opportunities. They could have really opened this thing up for us. But it is what it is. Other than that, I just think that, this is a great show. I really, really recommend people watching this show from season 1 going on to season 2. Like I said, the episodes are very short, 8 episodes each season, and it's like a good 25 minutes each episode. Great season. I actually think season 2 was better than season 1. I actually really like season 1, but season 2, like, they keep upping their game, and I hope that season 3, gets out, it hits out with a bang. I hope it hits out with a bang. So I can't wait. I can't wait to see what happens. Shout out to the creators. Shout out to the script writers, the animators. Like, shout out to the graphic design, everything. Like, I want to give everybody their props, and I hope they're being paid well over there in Netflix, because they really did their big one on this. So, but yeah, I think that Blood of Zeus, unfortunately, will be an end of an era next year. The fact that the last season is coming out next year. But I'm happy that I'm one of those people that actually gave it attention and watched it and giving it its 10s. So I can't wait to see what happens for season 3, what they have in mind, especially with this whole Typhon thing. Will we see Kronos? Like, it's going to be exciting. So I can't wait. But yeah, please know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get up to 900 subscribers. The goal is to get up to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I thank y'all so much, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.